guys, welcome back to RC Resto Mod. Sorry it's been so long. Just had things not go my way. I'm not going to make excuses. Just my plans didn't come to fruition. What I'm going to do today is we're going to fix this thing up a little bit. When I made the video where Brian and I went out under the bridge and I had out the old TRX4, let's be honest, both of his crawlers outperformed mine. And they did so by a pretty good margin. So we're going to do some things to help this. One thing I didn't like was the overhang on the front. So we've got a new metal front bumper to go in here. Amazon said it would fit a TRX4. When it came in, it said if it's an axial SCX10, it may or may not fit. We're going to try. I do have a Cyber Monday score, which is a whole bunch of brass, and let me tell you, there's significant weight there for the axles. And it also came with these cool brake rotors, but when you look at these wheels, you can tell that the cool little brake rotors and calipers would never show. So I'll gift these to one of my friends that has wheels that you can see through. But anyway, right now we're going to pull the body off, we're going to pull the wheels off, and then we're going to see what we can do about getting the front axle out to add some weight to it. So here goes nutting. Alright guys, there's a guy named Stephen Robinson who lives in Abilene, Texas, and he started a business 3D printing RC accessories. And he decided that I needed one of these because I think he thought my little board looked kind of ghetto. So we're going to try. My tools do seem to fit in the bigger holes rather well. So there's my 2.0. Let's see, 1.5, 2.0, 2.5, and 3. So that does hold them, and it's got a little tray in there for your parts that you've removed. So we'll give that a shot. I also noticed when we had the car out that the front end seemed a lot more rigid than I really kind of wanted it to be. It wouldn't drop. The wheels didn't want to drop down, and when one of the front wheels came up, it tilted the whole body almost immediately. I'd like for it to be a little freer, so we're going to put thinner oil here. Okay, let's see what we got in our package here. We got this little bag. Has got the C's for the end of the axle in brass rather than plastic, and a whole bunch of screws with spacers. I'm not certain, looks like there's too many screws. Let's figure that out. We're going to start by taking that knuckle apart. Okay. It's got that axle pulled out of that side. And now there are 3 small screws that are holding that C in position. Okay, step 1. How does this first piece fit? Ooh, very tight, but it does go on. All right, that's in there. Okay, that's on. It looks good. We'll clean up the rest of this before it all goes back together. But the wow, the difference in weight between those two pieces is astonishing. This basically has no weight, and this is, it's all there. Brass is a lot heavier than plastic. Look at that. Boy, I tell you what, that looks good. We're gonna see if all the connections are the same, but man, just looking at it, it looks like it's gonna be a very good fit. All right, let's. All right, let's see what the portals look like in there. All right, they're metal gear. All right. The gears in my portals look brand new, which is not surprising. The truck doesn't have a whole lot of runtime on it. So we'll just clean these up and put them in the new housing. That little bearing down there is going to be a pain to get out. I'm leaving this one on the stalk because if I pull it off, there's a pin that goes through that holds the dog bone on for the axle, and I don't want to mess with taking the axle off and trying to re-stab that, so we're just going to keep it in place because, like I said, the truck doesn't have very much runtime in it. Everything's very loose. It feels just like it should, so we're just going to knock the dirt off of it and put it back together. All right. Now we've got the other side to kind of look at. So that one's going to go like that, and the top bearing and axle are going to push in. Guys, that fits great. This okay, we got that much together. Now let's find an outer. We'll add a little bit of grease to these gears in the portal. God, that is so freaking heavy. I've got to help this little thing bite on the front end. All right. And it just slips right together. And I finished putting this together, and guys, the fit and finish is really good. The only thing I've run into is when I installed these screws here, the new bushings that they supplied are just barely longer than the factory ones. So when I screwed it together, there was a lot of play going up and down, more than I was comfortable with. But luckily, since my truck hasn't had a whole lot of runtime, I was able to put the factory ones back in, and golden. Now it's just doing the other side, kind of redoing what I've already done. I know how to do it, so hopefully this side will go very quickly. Got enough of these little baggies to go into the illicit pharmaceuticals game now. I'm not going to, but I've got enough baggies to at least get started. All right, that's all back together and running very smoothly. All right, that turns freely. Man, the weight difference is astonishing. We'll get that axle rehung. Drive shafts need to be in time. You see that slot there? And that slot there, it's probably kind of hard to see in the film. I'll see if I can zoom in. But that slot and that slot need to be lined up when the drive shaft goes back together. All right, see what we got. Looks like I'm one notch off. Now let's see what we got. Okay, sometimes when that happens and you can't get them to line up, if you go 180 degrees, yep, this is one of those cases. Take it around 180 degrees and they line up perfect. I should have grabbed a silver Sharpie or something and put a mark across each one so I'd know where they'd line up, but I didn't do that, but we overcame the problem. All right, now it's time to do the back. And kind of knowing some of the things I know from having done the front, we're going to go for speed on this one. Well, that was the hardest thing I've had to do so far. Getting that lined up and pressed on. It actually took quite a bit of force, but it kind of makes me wonder how much those little screws are actually going to do on this one. Probably not a lot. Okay, had a little problem on the very last one. There is a shoulder. Let's see if I can get something to point with. There's a shoulder right down in there. And evidently they left it a little bit large because that ring right there on my gear is making contact on it when it's all buttoned up and causing it to drag. Brass is a pretty soft metal, and all I've got to do is leave some shoulder out there for the bearing to seat against, because what that shoulder is actually for is to keep this bearing from sliding in too far. So looks like what I'm going to have to do is take my Dremel tool and remove just a little bit, just a little, tiny little bit. Like you can see how this fits down in there, and if you look real carefully, it's actually touching in a few places where when you drop it into the plastic one that Trax has supplied, there's a bit of clearance around the outside of it all the way around. So what I'm going to have to do is I had just a tiny bit of clearance right there. 3 out of the 4 were perfect, but that shoulder right there not having a chamfer on it is the problem I'm having right now. So I just need to take off like probably 1 or 2 thousandths all the way around. Let's see if I can get that done without making a mess of things. All right, I think I got it just about there. And then I took my blue Sharpie and colored the parts where I thought it might make contact. And I'm gonna go put the gear piece down in there and spin it around, and it should remove the ink to show me where my problem is. Then I can grind out the last little bit and we'll be ready to finish this project. I ground some out of that shoulder there, and then I also took down the shoulder on my gear just a little bit because it dawned on me. All right, it's fixed. Now let's put the screws in it and put it back on. That was definitely an unexpected time suck that I was not prepared for. But that's the way it is when we do anything custom. Okay, that's got that back together. Now let's put it back on the truck. Well, first, everything works. Everything works. Our little grind job solved our issues. Now it's time to fix the shocks. Hey guys, while you were away, I struggled and bolted on the new front bumper on this thing, and it bolted right on, except there's an issue. Actually, there's two. When you turn it sideways, this thing sticks out a mile. I think it sticks out every bit as far as the let's see, this is how far the original one stuck out. It's almost identical. Problem number 2 is that the back part of the support for the bumper makes contact with the steering. It's actually way worse on this side. It's the side I should have pulled off. So what we're going to do to fix, and it also, problem number 3, it's not very rigid. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut this off at an appropriate length, slide it back in and drill 2 new holes and mount it. And then once we've done that, it ought to be tucked in, up high, and not interfere with the suspension and be a really good thing. So bear with me while I do that. Nothing's easy when you're customizing stuff. Never has been, and I guess never will be. And there's no such thing as a bolt-on. That's if you're not installing direct replacement parts, you're going to be using your Dremel and your drill to make everything work right. But if it was easy, everybody would do it. And having something cool and customized would not mean what it does. Alright, I got that cut off and the cuts are deburred. Now let's see how it fits. That's a lot better. And I do have solid metal behind my holes there. Now we got to figure out, and it's far enough forward that the suspension compresses once more. So now I've got to figure out how to mark the holes so I can drill them. And then we'll bolt it on again. Just going to take a piece of tape. Line it up on top of the frame as best I can. And we're going to punch the holes through. And we're going to take those 2 holes. Due to the hole in the plastic here, I know how far back the back hole needs to be. So if I mark where the back hole needs to be, y'all can't see that, but I can because it's shiny. I want to extend that line up and down. That's where the back hole needs to be. And then we're gonna, there is a weld along here that's visible, and then this piece that sticks out the back. So we're going to match. What we're going to do now is put another piece of tape on here, 3rd time's the charm. I want to match the top of the frame. Right here, I'm going to match the top of this frame. And as we come back, we're going to figure out how far down the holes need to be. And then I'll know where the back hole needs to be, and I should have the separation between them. And it should then make it quite possible to make it all work. We're going to try to pilot it with a little bitty hole. Okay, we got one of them through. Should get a lot easier now. And it is sitting just exactly like I wanted it to. I'm going to go ahead and stop this because I'm going to use the same method to locate the back hole and then the front hole. But every time I start marking for a hole, I'm going to be putting this thing completely on and taking it off. It's going to be very time consuming. So we're going to stop. I'm just going to do it and I'll come back when it's done. Okay guys, I was fixing to head out to go do some testing. Slapped the wheels on it and the dang thing wouldn't go. And then I found out there is a line of brass right there that you shouldn't be able to see. See on the back one how it's solid black? Yeah. There are bolts inside my bead locks that hold it together that are making contact. So I'm going to have to take a little bit of that weight that I added off with a Dremel tool in order to get the wheels to turn. Custom stuff is a pain in the butt. When I first installed this front bumper last night, it was very flexible. The supports for it came back and got into the centering or the panhard bar there, and it stuck way the heck out. I cut the supports off, drilled new holes, which figuring out exactly where those holes had to be was a royal pain in the butt, but I got it done. And you can see that it doesn't flex anymore. I can even pick the truck up by it without it moving in relation to the frame. So that part went very well. We'll get the 2 screws on, we'll have the brass in place. I cleaned the tires, and maybe all that together will make it perform better. Oh, also softened up the shocks. Maybe all that together will make it perform a whole lot better than it did before. These bead locks, they cause problems. You saw where I had to grind the new portal housings a little bit to make them fit. Even before with the factory portal housings, I had to put 2 flat washers under the fronts and 1 under the rear in order to make the wheels turn freely. And with the new portal housings, it takes 2 everywhere. Now don't worry, that still leaves plenty of engagement with the hexes. I've not had any damage to the hexes or the inside of the wheel, but I had to go get 2 more washers. So I've got those. I want to put them on, and we're going to go right back down to where she got beat pretty bad before and see if we can make it better. All right, guys, here we go. Let's see if she's any better. All right, let's lock the disc and put her in low range. See if she'll take this hill. Like a champ. Guys, I struggled with that for a long time the last time I was here. And that just walked right up it. Okay, it's still not going up that step. But it did take that step a lot easier. That ledge is still a booker. Well, we almost made that work. All right, I still can't make it up on that ledge, but we definitely have a much easier time doing a lot of other things. All right, we're gonna try to take the hard line. Just like that. Guys, there's no way it would have done that before. That brass made a huge difference in its grip level in the front. And it's staying up, it's staying right side up through things that definitely would have turned it over before. So that the center of gravity on this truck is much, much, much lower. Well, that's a hard place to go because that is a massive undercut. Yeah, it's not even going to think about it. I feel like I did good just to get it down right side up that time. Let's try it one more time. Just like that. Guys, I'm pretty certain that 2 days ago it would not have made that little climb right there. All right, we're headed out so I can go edit this video and share it with you guys. Oh no! We gotta do better than that. All right, let's give this another go. There we go. All right, I had to do the climb out of here. How you guys could see it because it was pretty epic. Well, these things will not climb the stairs. Your breakover angle is just too severe on them. We've tried them with several crawlers and none of them will even try. But off to the side there is a leaf infested. That hill's normally pretty easy, but with these leaves on it, it is a little bit more of a challenge, and it was kind of cool to watch. So here goes. Oh no! Well, let's do it one more time.
Let's see if she'll catch air. Nope. You guys, believe it or not, that dirt hill, that little grassy knoll there, can be quite a challenge. Let's see how much extra grip we picked up with all that brass. Ah, not enough. Oh no, made it pretty easily. I'll try to get in a different place. Oh my gosh, I don't think I filmed this last time out. There were a lot of flips getting up and down that hill. We haven't had any rain or anything, so there's been no change to the hill. It's just the change to the truck. Last time we were here, I had to come in at an angle to get my tire to hit the curb first. Now, it's definitely tire first. Takes a little bit of speed to make it pop on up, but man, it does it so easy. All right, we gotta get that ugly back bumper off of there. And I think we need a call out to everybody's favorite RC based YouTube channel on the doors, looking like an old company logo. I've got an idea for that. The big Sticky Mickey's heavy bead locks, lots of brass on the axles, a bumper that gives you better approach angle. You got a winner there. That thing is bad to the bone. So the crawler is much better, and we'll be taking it out for some more crawler adventures, and you'll see it all on RC Restomod.